Hello, hello, my name's Chloe, and welcome to my new series of Fandoms for Dummies, brought to you by a certified fan. Today I'm going to explain all the lore of Epic the Musical in honor of the final saga coming out this month. With an immersive fandom, passionate voice actors, and at the head of it all, Jorge, who is the talented creator of Epic. My friends, are you living under a rock? You must have heard a snippet of Epic. There's so many catchy and amazing songs.
Two can play this game.
Nah, don't be modest. I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest. You are Athena. Badass in the arena. Unmatched, witty, and queen of the best strategies we've seen.
You don't know Warrior of the Mind? What about Ruthlessness? That's the song that got me into Epic in 2023.
Before you go, I need to make you learn how. Ruthlessness is mercy upon us.
Do you still know what I'm talking about? Okay, let me explain. So you know that really old book that you had to read in high school? Or are obsessed with Greek mythology? You know the Odyssey? Epic's based on that. So we're following our main man Odysseus, who just, in his own words,
To slay.
slayed and had victory in the Trojan War. In the hope of returning back home to Ithaca, where his lovely wife Penelope and his son Telemachus await him, he must conquer 600 miles of open sea. He's faced with challenges of wit and battles against gods and monsters. Oh my. For very strong fans of this famous myth, I'm gonna have Jorge explain why this is a loose adaptation of the Odyssey.
When we look at an adaptation like this, it's important to ask the question, what is the purpose of this piece? We of course want to entertain people and bring people together, but what is this work saying about the world? As many of you know, in Epic, the main lesson is that it is necessary to have a capacity for ruthlessness in order to protect yourself and that which you care about. That being said, most of the changes I make from the Odyssey to Epic are to serve that theme and that purpose. Odysseus' character arc is that he slowly learns to embrace ruthlessness in order to get back to his family. In the Odyssey, we don't really see Odysseus ponder the morality of his choices, but in Epic, that's the central focal point. I try to keep as many of the iconic characters and locations from the source material as possible, while also making adjustments to the story so that it serves the theme of ruthlessness and allows us to track the character arcs. In the Odyssey, Poseidon and Odysseus never meet face to face, but in Epic, Poseidon confronts Odysseus and establishes his ideology of ruthlessness.
Before I can explain the true gravity of Epic, I gotta take you back in time and talk about Jorge Rivera Herons, or more commonly known as J. Mr. Jalapeno. Mr. Jalapeno was raised in Dorado, Puerto Rico, but moved to the States for school and attended University of Notre Dame. In my freshman year of college, I was staying up till 3 a.m. reading AO3, listening to Epic, and spending all my dying dollar on gluten-free Rice Krispie treats. Jorge was not writing Epic, he was writing his first musical. Epic is his second musical. Although, Jay did not attend school for music. It was actually just a hobby of his.
I switched from pre-med to theater and I began writing my own music.
As someone that loves the multiverse and loves to think of all the alternate personalities of Chloe, I think it's so funny to think that there's an alternate reality where we don't have Mr. Jalapeno, we have Dr. Jalapeno. And it's this goofball, who I love dearly. Selfishly, I'm grateful he's curing my issues with music because medication hasn't been cutting it. As a person that loves Epic and has also been in a ton of other fandoms, I really wanted to talk about how Jay is constantly posting videos on how thankful and grateful he is for us.
Hello, my friends. I just wanted to take a second to say thank you so much for all of the support you've given me and given Epic. It means the world to me. I can't believe that I live in a world where I get to write songs and people know the lyrics and they know the song names and they care about it and they like it and they are interested in the process of it. Hello, my friends. I'm struggling to figure out the right words to properly express my gratitude. Thank you guys so much for changing my life for the better. You guys are literally making my dreams come true. And I can never thank you enough. I know I say thank you all the time, but it really means the world to me. You guys have been supporting me for years. Years I've been working on this project and sharing the process with you guys, and you guys have been there with me for
Every step.
Never fearful to get emotional in his videos or live streams. On top of that, he's also an enigma of light and positivity. These videos are my safe haven on a bad day. I know once I get into this, you're probably gonna be like, why aren't we talking about Epic? This girl's going on a tangent. But no, I think it's really important to talk about Jay's first musical. Because originally it was called Stupid Humans. Don't be one of them. I'm kidding. At Notre Dame Day, Jorge and his classmates performed
The prodigy of cardiology is Jay Rivera Herons. And take it away.
Okay, I lied. I hate this job. I really freaking hate this job. And there's no one on the mother-loving face of the planet to make me say thanks for this job. Only reason I have this job, father told me to get this job. Demanded a land of solitary in life and med school to be granted monetary advancement. I don't think it's all about the money, and it's kind of funny. I think everybody's got a hobby that they love. Think about it. Every time I step up in the med school, all I really want to do is sing and write songs. Yes, I'm depressed. I confess incessantly. Pressed for success, but success should be self-defined. So where do I draw the line?
After this performance that is very, very different from Epic, Jay partnered with Matt Hawkins, who he co-created My Heart Says Go with.
What was it about this student-written production that made you want to take that risk, Matt?
Oh, it's him. Yeah. It's the individual, without a doubt. He came to me, so this is only my second year here. I'm very grateful, and I met Jay in his sophomore year. So we basically got here at the same time, met each other, and he came in with this idea, and he sang one of his songs in one of my classes, and I thought, oh, this kid's got some talent.
In this musical, Matt Hawkins wrote all the spoken dialogue, while Jorge was its songwriter. In this moment, a lot of people have said Jorge is the Lin-Manuel Miranda of our generation. In this first video I showed you, it's very clear that he took a lot of inspiration from Lin. But when you go to listen to his musical now, you can tell that he's found his own voice, and it's so cool to see that he created something that was completely different and new. In the words of Jay himself, he says, "My Heart Says Go is about following your heart, overcoming obstacles, and never giving up on those you love. It follows a first-generation college student named Indigo who defies his father and drops out of med school to become a singer-songwriter." Sound familiar? I'll get into it later, but I think it's really symbolic that his first musical really mirrored his life, going into school to be in the medical field and becoming a songwriter that he is today.
Why did you decide to do a musical about your own life?
Well, I have a very strong belief that everyone should always try to follow their dreams, because I personally feel so happy doing the thing that I love. I grew up kind of being told that I was going to go into medicine and spending tons of time shadowing surgeons and being in medical clubs and stuff. But it was when I got to Notre Dame that I realized that I really just love to do theater and sing and act. And when I finally made that switch, I just felt so happy and empowered by it that I wanted to inspire others to do the same.
In 2020, the creation of My Heart Says Go studio album had been paused because no one was able to record anything. It actually took until May 5th, 2023 for the album to be released to the public. In June 2019, that was when the idea of Epic began. He continued to work on it all throughout COVID until 2021, where he posted his first video online about Epic the musical. Something that I think makes Epic unique is that when Jay was casting, he didn't reach out to all these big names, even though he kind of already created a name for himself at Notre Dame. He instead reached out to his fans and asked for people to audition.
Here's a chance to be a part of Epic. I'm looking for someone to play the role of Zeus in the official cast album for Epic the Musical. To audition, all you have to do is duet the instrumental of this song with you singing it. Tag whoever you think should audition in the comments.
Thrilled that I had the opportunity. It's such a surreal experience to be cast through TikTok and being part of this amazing project. I'm big into Greek mythology. I'm actually a Poseidon fan, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so great. This is written exquisitely. It's written so good.
One fumed with rage as you're consumed by age. If you don't end him now, you'll have no one left to save. You can say goodbye to.
I love the fact that this community is so supportive, and so wherever they want it to go, I just want it to spread and be awesome.
Personally, I think this shows how much of a passion project this is for Jay, because he found people that equally love the show as much as he does. Another key note is, unlike My Heart Says Go, Jorge actually is the voice of the main character, Odysseus. Keep in mind, Jorge was ready to open auditions for this character, but the fandom said that they wanted him to stay in the role. They were used to hearing him for months, and they thought he was a good fit for his character.
Just knowing that I want to write a musical where I could dive in with all the things that inspire me, even if they're not necessarily from musical theater, and they're not, right? The things that inspire me most are video games and animation, anime, things like that. I remember telling so many people that I had this idea about writing a musical that feels like a video game, and at first I remember the looks that came with it, but I don't know, I hope other nerds see this and are like, yeah, you know?
I'm about to throw a lot at you, so I hope you're still with me. Lock in. Epic the Musical is broken into 9 sagas that has been released periodically since the end of 2022. In the start, we had the Troy Saga, which was released on Christmas of 2022.
Finally happening.
It's happening.
It's happening!
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening!
It's happening.
It's happening!
It's happening.
It's happening!
It's happening.
It's happening.
After all this time, it's finally happening.
This marked one of the most important dates in the Epic fandom, so don't forget December 25th. The next saga release was a month later on January 27th in 2023. Unfortunately, this is when the great setback comes into play, because it would be another year until we got the release of the next saga. This was due to Jay unfortunately experiencing legal issues with Blair Russell Productions. They refused to give Jay, the creator, a single dollar or royalty for the first 2 sagas. After this, Jay and the cast re-recorded the first 2 albums and re-released them and the rest of the following sagas under his new company, Winyan Enterprises LLC. So when listening to Epic, don't listen to this album or this album. Instead, listen to this album and this album. Jay actually has an official playlist that he made on Spotify that you can listen to if you are curious and listen to everything that's been released. Now, my friends, can you guess when the next saga was released?
We're back.
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 I'm new here.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back, baby.
After all this time, we're finally back. Thank you all for supporting us throughout this process. It means the world to me. I present to you the trailer for the next chapter of Epic, releasing on my favorite day of the year. Enjoy.
If you said Christmas, ding 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 ding! At this current time, there is 8 out of 9 sagas that have been released. After the Troy and the Cyclops saga, there is the Ocean, Circe, Underworld, Thunder, Wisdom, and Vengeance saga. We are currently waiting on
The Ithaca Saga. First off, the cover art. Now, I can't show it to you yet, but I can draw it for you. And as you guys know, that's where my actual artistic strength is. So, the cover art is very simple, very straightforward. It is Odysseus's hunting bow. Oh my gosh, I can't even draw a hunting bow. I'm terrible at this. And it is resting against a wall. Oh my gosh, you can't even see it. Yeah. If that's not art, I don't know what. Number 2, release date. When is it coming out? The thing is, I think you guys all know. I think you already know when it's coming out.
To wrap it all in, having its full circle moment, is the last saga of the concept album of Epic the Musical, which is being released on dun 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 December 25th, 2024. I told you that date was important. If I'm being so honest, it's been an amazing journey watching Jorge talk about his creation, explaining all the ins and outs to the fans. For example, in the very beginning of Mr. Jalapeno's process, did you forget about the name? Disappointing if you did. He talked about how there's plenty of motifs that have been sprinkled all throughout the musical. Specifically, how he uses instruments and connects them to different characters. For example, Athena with piano and Odysseus with the guitar. And he'll use different types of guitar for different types of emotions and scenes. So I'm going to have him talk about that for a minute.
You guys played the God games, and now I'm going to give you the answers. My biggest inspiration for Epic has always been video games, and for this specific song, I was very inspired by the Elite Four from Pokemon and by Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts. Basically, boss battles in sequence. This first section of music belongs to Apollo, and if you listen closely, it's basically just a lyre jamming out. Next up, we have Hephaestus, whose B has a lot of metallic sounds like you might hear at a forge, for example an anvil, but also has a melody coming out of a church bell because of its metallic composition. Next up, we have Aphrodite, whose music kicks off with a saxophone because it's often associated with a sort of romantic connotation. Then we have Ares, and I'm really excited about this one because if you listen closely, the melody is actually playing Athena's motif, but it's being played by an erhu, which if I understand correctly, originated in China. The reason I chose this instrument is to have a subtle nod to Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Next up, we have Hera, whose music has elements of disco because I was inspired by Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, because Hera is also dealing with someone who's done her wrong. Finally, we have Zeus, whose music is very similar to that of his main song, Thunderbreak.
I distinctly remember watching this in middle school, so when I found out that Jorge took a lot of inspiration from Peter and the Wolf, I was so very excited. Truthfully, I could never get tired of these videos, but if I was to play any more, we'd be here all day. If this part of Epic interests you, I highly recommend jumping down this rabbit hole on Jay's TikTok profile. Obviously, I can't get into everything, but for the fans that want to get into the key gears that work with Jorge, I'm going to talk about a couple of different people. Number 1, Talia Sindel, Miss Jalapeno, and Jay's loving girlfriend, who he's adorably obsessed with. I speak so highly of them. They're on my list. If they break up, love does not exist. Talia is a talented performer who originally auditioned for Zeus, but instead got the role of Circe. She also went to UC Berkeley, receiving a degree in astrophysics and physics. I and the rest of the fandom love this couple and never want them to separate. It's actually an inside joke that if we go to her TikTok and she posts a new video and we are there before Jorge comments, everyone freaks out. It's filled with Captain! Captain! Next person on my list is Tegan Early, longtime friend of Jay and also a killer talented artist. She's one of the first people that was ever cast in this musical and loves it just as much.
I first started writing this when we were in college together. From there, like just that initial listening to things in the lounges of our dorms to here is just surreal in the best possible way. I was like a huge Greek mythology nerd growing up, and so to get the chance to play her was a dream, period, in any capacity.
As promised, I wanted to talk about Jay's loving and supportive family. His father, mother, and sister have all voice characters in Epic. I will not be saying the sagas that these characters appear in, but I will tell you who they play. Jorge's mother plays Odysseus' mother, Jorge's sister plays a Princess Winion, and lastly, his father plays Hephaestus, the god of craft. Which I think is perfect because father is the one to create the sound booth Jorge and all of the other cast record in for Epic. There's still one key thing to this fandom that I have not yet covered, but I'm going to. But first, I want to show you an edit, a collection of clips, a trailer, before I do that. 3, 2...
This cannot be the way. Sometimes mercy has a price. Sometimes you gotta be cold as ice. Empathy makes you good, but it does not make you right. Sometimes you're better off losing fear. The world is insincere. This cannot be. This is the way. 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 This cannot be the way. The blood on your hands is something you can't lose. All you can choose is lose. This cannot be the way.
If you've been wondering where I got all those clips, or any clips that I've used in this video, that would be this fandom's talented artists. One of the beauties of Epic is that Jorge made it very accessible to all. So many different creators can come in and join the experience by making animations or edits to their favorite songs. I will link 2 of my own playlists filled with animations from fabulous creators. One of my playlists is my personal favorite animatic for each individual song. This is if you wanted to watch it in order coherently, you could. The second playlist is a collection of multiple animations for each song that I personally also love and think others should see. If you're a new fan, this could really help with getting a footing into what the fandom has to offer. Disclaimer, I'm very sorry if I missed you. It was not my intention. I tried to get all the creators I could. But I'd like to send a special shout out to all these animators that I have loved dearly. Please never stop creating. You are so amazing. Mwah. If you came into this blind and you still aren't convinced to watch Epic, maybe a short video from our creator would help.
My name is Jorge Miguel Rivera Herranz, and I am a songwriter. Now you might be wondering, Mr. Songwriter, why should I listen to your music? Well, I shall tell you. It is because my music is dark and edgy. It is crunchy and punchy. It is hot and spicy. And you know that deep down, you want to feel the piggly wiggly in your ears. So listen to mine. And I recommend you take a listening to it. Goodbye.
Alright, we are finally wrapping up our Epic the Musical for Dummies, brought to you by a certified fan. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you have anything to say, leave a comment. If you want to see more of these videos, leave a subscribe. Thank you so much. Toodles!